When I gave my DIL's birthday gift to her mother, I discovered an incredible life-changing truth. Jack loved the hum of engines and the smell of motor oil. In his small Midwestern town, he was known as the go-to mechanic, a man who could fix anything with wheels. But Jack was more than just a mechanic. He was a devoted husband, a father, and a proud grandfather. As he scrubbed grease off his hands, he felt a ripple of excitement at the thought of Maria's upcoming birthday celebration. He'd spent weeks saving for the perfect present, a beautiful, brand new sweater, soft and cozy, just in time for the chilly fall nights. The day of the party was bright and sunny, perfect for gathering family and friends in their backyard. As he hung up colorful streamers, Jack's heart swelled with pride. But that pride soon shifted when he decided to run a quick errand at the local thrift shop, searching for decorations. Wandering through the aisles of the shop, he was struck by a familiar figure, a woman who looked both weary and determined, Rosa, Maria's mother. She was rummaging through a basket of outdated clothes, her shoeless feet looking worn under frayed pants. Seeing the sum of her struggles etched on her face stirred something deep within him. This vibrant woman, who brought warmth into his daughter-in-law's life, was fighting her own battles. Noticing her shoes ragged and barely holding together, he remembered the sweater tucked neatly in the box back home. And without a second thought, he approached her, his heart racing. "Rosa," he said, a flush creeping to his cheeks. "I know this might sound strange, but I brought you something." He handed over the beautifully wrapped gift, feeling an unexpected weight lifting as she looked down, confusion clouding her eyes. "Es para Maria?" she whispered, glancing up at him in disbelief, her brow furrowed in surprise. "No, it's for you." "I thought you could use it," he replied, his voice softer than he intended. Her face shifted, uncertainty clashing with gratitude. Tears danced in her eyes as she hesitated, but finally, she accepted the gift. And as Jack walked out of the shop, a peculiar calm spread through him, leaving an echo of his own hidden emotions behind. Later that evening, as laughter bounced around the yard with the flicker of candles, the air thickened with celebratory delight and unspoken truths. Maria opened Jack's gift, her eyes widening with joy. "Oh, Dad. This is stunning." But beneath the surface, tension flickered. A chat about the importance of kindness morphed into discussions about Rosa's sacrifices. Tears mingled with chuckles as various family members shared their thoughts, some appreciating Jack's goodwill, while others questioned the appropriateness of his gesture. Just as the air grew heavy with unshared stories, Jack noticed Rosa in the corner with Maria. Would Maria grasp the depth of her mother's sacrifices? Would Jack's moment of generosity build a bridge between them? He took a deep breath, preparing to step into the tangled web of emotions and truths. They were all intertwined, waiting to be addressed. As he approached them, Jack's heart raced. The unresolved questions loomed ahead. Would understanding bloom or fracture the delicate ties that bound them? Each heartbeat felt like a countdown to an uncertain revelation as they milled joyfully around the table, a tapestry of laughter, heartache, and hope swirled in the air. The moment hung heavy with potential. Jack moved closer, each step gradually tightening the knot in his stomach. As he approached Maria and Rosa, he could sense the shift in the atmosphere. It wasn't just the usual birthday excitement, there was an intensity hanging in the air, like a balloon stretched too tight. Maria's laughter rang out, bright and carefree. But as Jack caught Rosa's eye, something flickered behind her smile, a dampened fire that still fought to glow. She turned to him, weary yet hopeful. "Jack," she murmured, her voice barely rising above the chatter. "Thank you for the gift. I don't even know what to say." "It was just a sweater," he replied, shrugging it off, yet feeling the weight of the moment. "You deserve it." "No," she sighed, eyes shimmering. "You don't understand." Her gaze slipped toward Maria, who was obliviously flipping through the other gifts piled on the table. "For me, it's not just about a sweater. It's a moment of kindness. You've reminded me that I am seen. That I matter." That struck a chord with Jack. He had been so focused on fixing the cracks in others, a rusty transmission here, an engine sputtering there. But fixing people, or rather, lifting them up, was a different kind of repair. One he hadn't quite mastered. "Of course you matter, Rosa," he said, genuine warmth threading his tone. "You do so much. Maria loves you. We all do. Do you think she realizes that?" Rosa's voice turned fragile, a thin veil over a deep reservoir of pain. "That I gave everything for her?" Jack hesitated, the reality of their bond hanging like mist. I think she understands a part of it, but not everything." He felt a tug in his heart, a compulsion to say more, to peel back the layers. "What can I do to help her see?" Rosa studied him, a mix of uncertainty and timid hope in her eyes. "Share the stories, Jack. The ones only you can tell." He thought of Maria growing up. The struggles they shared, the triumphs. It was a treasure trove of memories, each one bringing to life the woman she had become. "I can do that," he promised, a resolve settling in his bones. "Dad, can you help me with the cake?" Maria called out, breaking into their conversation. "I can't reach the top shelf." Jack shot a look at Rosa and saw a flicker of humor spark in her eyes. Moments like this, small, precious moments, seemed to bind them closer, laying the groundwork of future connection. As he stepped away from Rosa, Jack felt a renewed sense of purpose. He blended into the background, gathering plates and drinks, but never losing sight of the two women sharing a laugh, a growing understanding blossoming between them. He felt like a bridge, a support for this duo of strong, resilient women. But lurking within him was a question that wouldn't leave his mind. What had he overlooked in Maria's past? What other stories were hidden within that beautiful tapestry of her life? And would those truths transform their family for the better or unravel the threads instead? Through the rhythm of laughter and joyful chaos, Jack contemplated how to navigate this new territory. The evening blossomed with potential, each shared smile a step toward healing. But he couldn't shake the thought, where would this journey take them? As darkness wrapped around the backyard, a shiver of anticipation coursed through him. The heart of their story still loomed ahead, waiting to unravel. What hidden truths awaited in the shadows, and how would they reshape their family's future? Jack returned to the kitchen, the vibrant sounds of Maria's party fading to a soft murmur behind him. He piled plates into the sink, each clatter echoing the uncertainty swirling in his head. The laughter of children drifted through the open back door, and he couldn't help but smile at how carefree they were. Yet his heart felt heavy as he recalled Rosa's words. Sharing stories, he thought. But which stories? There were so many fragments of Maria's past, moments he hadn't fully grasped. He wanted to honor her childhood, weave its threads together through laughter, tears, and resilience. "Hey, Dad. You okay?" Maria called from the living room, her voice slicing through his thoughts. "Yeah, just thinking," he replied, wiping his hands on a dish towel. "About my cake?" she asked, her brows furrowed in mock seriousness. "No. About the frosting. It's important," he grinned, trying to recapture the lightness of the moment. As he approached the living room, the sight of Maria standing over the cake filled him with warmth. The cake, decorated with bright frosting and sprinkles, was a chaotic masterpiece. "I think I need a little help," she said, glancing at the colorful mess she'd created. "Okay, but you know we can't eat it until after everyone sings happy birthday," he replied. She rolled her eyes. "Why do you always make the rules?" "Because I'm the dad," Jack laughed, squatting beside her to help pile on the frosting. As they worked side by side, that knot in his stomach tightened again. It wasn't only about the frosting, it was about more than a cake, a birthday celebration. It was about the layers of their lives, the untold stories yearning to be shared. "Dad," Maria said, her tone suddenly serious. "You're not still worried about the party, are you? It's going to be fun. Everyone's excited." "Of course. I'm just thinking about how much you've grown." Jack paused. "About your mom, too." She tilted her head, clearly curious. "What about her?" Jack took a breath, searching for the right words. It's just that there's so much I'd like you to know about her. Maybe stories that help you understand what she's been through, who she really is. Maria's face shifted, confusion dancing in her eyes. What do you mean? I know, Mom. Do you? I mean, sometimes we think we know someone completely, and then we find there's more. Stories you haven't heard yet. Maria's brow knit together, uncertain as she took a step back. But why does it matter now? There was such innocence and trust in her voice. It struck Jack hard, a painful reminder of the weight of unspoken histories. Because understanding her life can help you understand yourself. You're so much like her, Maria. Strong and kind, but there are shadows you might not see. The moment hung between them, the weight of unshared memories in the air. Jack saw the flicker of confusion in her eyes, and it brought a tinge of fear to his heart. Would this journey, this uncovering, bring them closer or push them away? Why would you want to share them? Maria asked, a whisper now, the giggles of the party sounding distant. I want you to know how much she loves you. How brave she is. Just then, Rosa entered the room, a gentle smile gracing her face. Jack's heart raced. Would this be the moment they could all bridge together? Would the past become the glue that held them? Everything okay? Rosa asked, her gaze darting between them, sensing the heaviness. Just talking about stories, Jack said, forcing a smile, but inside, he felt the enormity of the challenge ahead. This was only the beginning. It felt like standing at the edge of a deep canyon, unsure of the leap. But part of the leap was necessary. Could they all face the truths together? Would Maria be ready to accept that the love flowing throughout their lives was built on stories yet to be told? The uncertainty loomed large, and Jack took a deep breath as they stepped into the unknown. What would they discover when they crossed that bridge together? Jack felt the air thicken around him as he glanced between Maria and Rosa. It was as if a heavy curtain had fallen over the room, a silence so loud it drowned out the laughter and music outside. Rosa's smile, so warm a moment ago, seemed to freeze as she took a step closer. What stories are we talking about? Rosa's voice was soft, but there was an underlying tension. Maria shifted nervously, her fingers fidgeting with a sprinkle-studded cake knife. Jack could see the spark of confusion in her eyes, mixed with curiosity. Just memories I want to share, he started, unsure of how to navigate this moment. About your mom. Things that shaped her into the amazing person she is today. Rosa's expression didn't change, but the tension doubled, hanging thick in the air. I'm not sure what you mean, Jack. The familiar tug in Jack's chest grew stronger. He had to be careful, but the time felt right. Maria deserves to know more about all the parts of your life, Rosa. The ones that weren't easy. The strength it took to overcome them. Maria's eyes widened, her innocence shining through. Mom, is there something I don't know? I want to know. Rosa hesitated, searching for words that could bridge the gap of silence now stretching like a chasm. It's not that simple, sweetheart. Maybe it is, Jack interjected, sensing the cracks forming, and he had to press a little more. Rosa, this isn't just about the past, it's about understanding Maria, too. She carries pieces of both of us, and knowing you will help her become the person she's meant to be. Maria glanced between them, a mixture of hope and worry painted on her face. Jack's heart broke a little more with each beat that passed. He wanted this moment to bring them closer, but what if it pushed them apart? Finally, with a breath that felt heavier than it was, Rosa spoke. There are stories that are hard to share, ones that hurt. I never wanted to burden you both with that. Your life, your past, isn't a burden. Jack's words came out strong, the conviction flowing through him. It's part of who you are, part of our family. Tears glistened in Rosa's eyes, and for a moment, they all stood there, framed by the joy of the celebration beyond the walls of their kitchen. Jack wanted to reach out, to pull them closer together in this moment of vulnerability, but he felt rooted in place, bound by the gravity of the conversation. What if I want to hear the stories? Maria's voice quavered, breaking the tension, and it softened Jack's heart. I don't want any secrets. I just want to know. Rosa's gaze softened as it met Maria's. Honey, it's not secrets, it's about protection, about trying to keep you safe from pain. But pain is part of life, and it's part of our family story. Maria's cheeks flushed as she stood a bit taller. How can I be brave if I don't know? Jack felt a swell of pride for Maria. You're right, sweetheart. We learn from all of it. It's what makes us who we are. The weight of the moment shifted, and he could see Rosa wrestling with her fears. Would sharing the past create a deeper bond, or would it open wounds too raw to heal? Perhaps it's time, Rosa finally whispered, the resolve settling in her voice, and Jack could feel the air change around them. A flicker of hope ignited in Jack's chest, but with it came uncertainty. What stories would they unravel together? And would those stories heal or hurt? As they stood there, their hearts pounding in unison, the faint notes of children's laughter floated in from the party, reminding them of the world waiting just beyond the kitchen door. What if Maria hesitated, biting her lip as she glanced at Rosa? What if we start with a story about the cake? I want to know how you made all the messy frosting magic happen. For a moment, the tension broke, and Jack chuckled at their daughter's bright smile. Maybe, just maybe, this was the first step towards something deeper. Rosa smiled back, a spark igniting in her eyes, the edge of her worries blurring in the warmth of family around them. But in the back of Jack's mind, a nagging thought remained: what stories would they uncover, and how would they change the way Maria viewed her mom, her life, and ultimately, herself? As laughter erupted outside once again, Jack leaned in closer to Rosa, ready for the leap. Let us tell her the truth together. Rosa's smile lingered in the air for just a moment longer before she took a deep breath. The warmth of the kitchen, filled with the scent of sugar and vanilla, felt like a cocoon, somehow wrapping them all in a fragile bubble where anything seemed possible. Sure, she replied softly, her voice barely above a whisper. The cake, let us start there. Maria bounced on her toes, her excitement palpable. Yes. I want to hear it all. Like, why is it always rainbow? And how did you get it so fluffy? Jack watched as Rosa's worries eased, if only a fraction. The tension, which had moments before felt like a tightrope, began to soften. With a brief wave of her hand, Rosa motioned for Maria to come closer. I made that rainbow cake because it was your favorite, she began, a hint of nostalgia filtering through her words. I wanted to give you something that felt like a party, a celebration of color, just like you. Maria's eyes sparkled. I remember. But, Mom, why did you pick rainbow? There are other flavors. Rosa chuckled, the sound echoing comfortably in the small kitchen. Because I wanted to remind you that life is full of surprises, just like that cake. It has different layers, different flavors. Some are sweet, and some not so much. Jack leaned against the counter, feeling like a spectator in this warm exchange. He couldn't help but feel the magic of this moment. It was like they were peeling back the layers of their lives, revealing bits of themselves that had been hidden away. Okay, but I still want the messy frosting magic. Maria insisted, crossing her arms in mock defiance. Rosa laughed again, and it lit up her face. The frosting? That's where the story gets really interesting. She hesitated only for a second, and Jack could see the memories rolling in her mind, sifting through the joyful and the painful alike. I didn't always know how to make it. The first time I tried, it was a total disaster, way too much sugar and not enough butter. The whole kitchen was a sticky mess. Maria giggled, struggling to picture her mom amidst the chaos. You? A sticky mess? I can't believe it. But then how did you learn? Rosa's expression shifted, a flicker of vulnerability emerging. I learned from my mother. She used to make cakes with me, and we'd laugh over our mess-ups. It was our special time. Jack felt a pang in his chest as he noticed the shadow that passed over Rosa's features. It was faint, but it carried a weight that suggested her mother's presence had not only been sweet moments but bittersweet ones, too. He wondered how much her mother had influenced Rosa's life, sculpting the woman she had become. And what about the frosting recipe? Did your mom teach you that? Maria pressed, her eyes wide with curiosity. Rosa nodded, her voice steadying. Yes, but there's more. My mom faced her own challenges, and while she taught me how to bake, she also showed me that life can be messy. Sometimes things get ruined, but it's crucial to keep trying. As the words hung in the air, they felt heavy with meaning. Jack sensed Rosa was brave enough to share the deeper parts of her past. Just like frosting, he added carefully, sometimes you need to add a little of this or a little of that to get it just right. Rosa looked at Jack, and for a moment, they shared a silent conversation. He could see her bravery, the decision she was making to let her walls fall just a little. What was the biggest challenge your mom faced? Maria's voice broke through, innocent yet demanding. Rosa took a shaky breath. It's hard to talk about, sweet girl. But, I promise, I'll share all of it. Just know that behind every cake, there's a story, some crispy and some fluffy. An excited smile lit up Maria's face again. I want all the stories. But maybe after cake. I've waited all this time. I'm starving. Jack chuckled, filled with warmth as they pulled back from the serious part of their conversation. For a moment, everything felt right. But deep down, he felt the impending weight of the stories yet to come. They were still in a delicate balance between joy and pain. As they moved toward the celebration beyond their walls, Jack wondered if they would uncover the fragile layers in Rosa's past, layers both painful and beautiful. What stories would unfold next? And how would it change their family tapestry forever? Rosa wiped her hands on her apron, casting a quick glance at the clock. It seemed that time flew in this little kitchen. Okay, let us get the ingredients ready, shall we? She said, her tone brightening, the shadows of the earlier conversation already fading a bit. Maria nodded enthusiastically, diving into the cabinets for flour and sugar, while Jack grabbed the eggs from the fridge. The rhythmic sounds of clattering spoons and the soft thud of baking pans filled the room, creating a cheerful backdrop to their busy energy. Everything felt lighter now, like they were building up to something special. Are we doing the messy frosting magic now? Maria chirped, clutching a bowl with both hands, her eyes dancing with excitement. Not yet, we need to get the cake baked first, Rosa laughed. She always loved this part, the anticipation before digging into the messier, more fun elements of baking. But trust me, the frosting will be worth the wait. You'll see. As they mixed the ingredients, Jack couldn't help but admire the two in front of him. Their bond strengthened with every laugh, every shared glance that said, we're in this together. It struck him how crucial these moments were, that simple stitching of their lives amidst the complexities swirling around them. Do you remember how we used to bake the chocolate chips into the rainbow cake? Maria asked, stopping momentarily to look up at her mother, pure devotion in her eyes. The hidden treasures, right? Rosa beamed, encouraging Maria to become more animated. They were trading memories now, creating a tapestry of flavors both delightful and unexpected. Yeah. Because sometimes, you forget they're there and it's like boom. Chocolate. Just when you think it's all just rainbow. Maria spread her arms wide, mimicking an explosion, her laughter infectious. Jack smiled, not realizing how his heart tightened. A sudden reality struck him: these moments might be fleeting. What if tomorrow brought back the shadows? What if the kitchen that felt like home today turned cold again? Jack. Rosa's voice broke his reverie, pulling him back into the warmth of the kitchen. Yeah? He said, shaking off the feelings, forcing a smile. Will you help me mix the batter? I think it needs some muscle, Rosa teased, her eyes shimmering with mischief. Sure thing. He stepped over, feeling a renewed focus. This was the kind of connection that could weave them closer together. A small, playful part of him wanted to help concoct the frosting magic just for fun. It felt right. It felt happy. After mixing and pouring the batter into the pans, Rosa turned serious once more. You know, it's important to me that Maria understands the deeper parts of our traditions. Baking is so much more than just recipes. It's about love and resilience. Jack nodded, feeling the weight of her words. It is a way of holding on to memories, isn't it? His voice was soft, laden with thought. Rosa captured his gaze. Exactly. And it's also about celebrating who we are, right here and now. But also, we learn from the past. It all intertwines. Maria watched intently, sensing the tide of emotion surrounding them. Mom, do you think my grandmother is proud of us? Rosa paused, the air heavy with unspoken thoughts. I hope she is. Jack's heart soared at the delicacy of that moment, a shared hope that hung like a fragile ornament from a tree. Let us make her proud. We'll put extra love into this cake. Once the cakes were in the oven, there was no turning back. The anticipation grew, filling the kitchen with the sweet aroma of possibility. Maria danced on her toes while they waited, chattering away about everything and nothing. But as Rosa watched her daughter, the smile remained, yet uncertainty flickered in her eyes. The stories Rosa had yet to share felt like looming shadows, waiting for the right moment to emerge. Mom, tell me the next part. Maria urged, her innocent eyes full of yearning for the tales behind the sweetness. Rosa took a deep breath, her heart heavy yet ready. Where do I even begin? Before Jack knew it, they stood on the precipice of something deeper. What stories would Rosa weave? What threads of history would they uncover next? The cake wasn't the only thing rising today. Feelings were bubbling over too, and all of them were hanging in the air, thick with uncharted emotions. As the light from the oven poured golden warmth into the kitchen, the ticking clock filled the silence, each sound echoing like a heartbeat. Maria twirled, her eyes brightened by the glow of the reflection in the mixing bowls. Come on, Mom. You have to tell me. Rosa realized how her resolve was growing shaky under the gentle intensity of her daughter's gaze. It wasn't just the cakes rising before them, it was the story of a family sweet and complex waiting to be told. Okay, how about I start with how my mother taught me that very same recipe? Jack leaned against the counter, soaking in the moment. The way Rosa's voice changed, how her cheeks flushed with memory, it was captivating. He wanted to capture every detail, every inflection. It felt like they were weaving a tapestry, each moment adding depth to their shared history. Your grandma used to bake for hours, especially when birthdays came around. She believed that cakes should taste like joy, Rosa began, her smile tinged with nostalgia. I remember running around her feet, waiting for the chance to help. The secret of a perfect cake is in the love you mix in, she used to say. I took that to heart. Maria gasped. Mom, can we do that? Can we mix in love? Rosa chuckled softly, touched by her daughter's innocence. Absolutely, sweetie. Love's the most important ingredient. It makes everything come together. But as she spoke, shadowy memories began to surface just beneath her smile. There were stories Rosa had kept tucked away, ones that still felt raw and unsteady. Ones tied to her mother and a complicated relationship that had never fully healed. Jack sensed the slight falter in her voice. Is there more? About your mom? He ventured gently, keeping his eyes steady on Rosa. Rosa hesitated. The weight of the past hung over her like an overripe cloud, ready to burst. Well, she had her struggles, she admitted slowly. Life wasn't always sweet for her. After she lost my father, things changed. She poured herself into baking, though, it was a way for her to cope. I think that's how she dealt with the sadness. The kitchen, once filled with laughter, became heavy with unspoken words. Maria observed them, sensing the shift in the air. But she taught you how to be strong too, didn't she? She asked quietly. Rosa nodded, tears pricking at the corners of her eyes. Yes, she did. She showed me that resilience is as important as love. It's in the way we rise after setbacks. Just like these cakes. If they fall, we can bake again. Jack's heart swelled with admiration. Rosa was doing more than sharing a story, she was revealing a piece of herself, a truth woven into the very fabric of their family. Before Rosa could continue, the oven timer chimed, slicing through the tension. Time to check the cakes," she exclaimed, quickly transitioning back to a lighter mood, but the crack of emotion still lingered. "Can I see?" Maria more than bounced on her toes, her excitement bubbling just like the batter they mixed. "Of course. But be careful, they look hot." Together they moved to the oven, a trio of eager hearts. As they opened the door, the warm fragrance enveloped them, swirling with tantalizing notes of vanilla and richness. Jack couldn't help but smile at the way they huddled together before the oven, their faces aglow with anticipation. It was beautiful in its simplicity, yet profound in what lay beneath the surface. Rosa turned back to Jack, her eyes softening. "You know, sometimes I think the lessons we learn from our past prepare us for the joy that's yet to come. Or for unexpected discoveries," Jack said, feeling the spark of something bigger on the horizon. "What do you mean?" Rosa asked, a flicker of curiosity in her eyes. Jack hesitated, but he sensed now was the moment to open up. "There's something I've wanted to share with you, a truth I found, about family and connections. It might change everything." As the tantalizing aroma swirled around them, his words hung in the air, thick with possibility. What revelations awaited them? What truths still lay hidden in the sweetness of their baking, waiting to surface? Rosa's heart raced in the thickening silence. The warmth from the oven was now a stark contrast to the chill of uncertainty settling in her chest. She glanced at Maria, whose excitement still radiated, blissfully unaware of the tension unfolding in the moment. Jack's expression, however, was serious, and it instilled a sense of urgency in her. "What kind of truth are we talking about?" she asked cautiously, trying to mask the rising tide of dread. "I met someone," Jack began, leaning in closer, his voice low yet earnest. "Her name is Lucy. She's a writer, and she has a story that connects us in a way I never anticipated." "Connects us?" Rosa echoed, trying to wrap her mind around his words. Jack nodded, his eyes shifting to the oven and back. "She's from my past. Someone I once considered family. But I didn't realize just how tied our stories were until I spoke with her." Maria, sensing the shift in their conversation, squeezed Rosa's hand tightly. "Is it a good story?" she chimed in, hopeful for something uplifting in the middle of the suspense. "I think it could be," he replied, a slight smile crackling through his seriousness. "But I need you to be open to what I'm saying. Family can be more complicated than it appears, and sometimes the truth can change everything we thought we knew." Rosa studied Jack's face, searching for the reassuring warmth she had always found there. "What are you saying, Jack? Are you talking about family secrets?" He hesitated, the weight of his words heavy with implications. "It's about connections that you wouldn't expect, like what's been passed down through generations. Things that impact us but we don't fully understand until they're revealed." The oven timer chimed again, its sing-song sound somehow unsettling now. Maria bounced towards the counter for a spatula, oblivious to the shift in the atmosphere. The kitchen, once a safe haven of sweetness, was now tangled in threads of unanswered questions. "Mom, can we taste a piece?" Maria danced impatiently, eyes sparkling like the cake's topping. That innocent excitement served as a reminder of the joy that still glimmered in their lives. Rosa turned back to the oven, lifting one of the cakes. Its surface was golden brown, perfectly risen. "Of course, honey. But let's make sure we let it cool first." Realizing they needed a break from the intensity hanging over them, Jack picked up a spatula and offered, "How about I help you cut a slice for all of us? Baking isn't just about the outcome, it's about the journey, right?" Rosa agreed, though her mind raced with thoughts of Jack's revelation. What could he possibly be referring to? She glanced at Maria, whose laughter rang like a bell, and for a moment, she felt the shadows lift. As they began to slice the cake, Jack spoke up again. "I guess what I'm trying to say is, sometimes the truths we're scared of uncovering lead us to discover the most beautiful parts of ourselves and those we love. Even pain can blossom into something joyful if we embrace it." Glancing at Rosa, he continued, "I need you to trust me. Whatever Lucy has to share, it might help us understand our own family histories better." Rosa swallowed hard, the weight of his words settling in. Could embracing the pain reshape their lives for the better? What would it mean for Maria, for the values they had always held dear? As they slid the warm cake onto a plate, the kitchen filled with the sweet aroma mingling with their mixed emotions. Just then, Jack's phone buzzed insistently on the counter. He picked it up and read the screen, his expression shifting. It's Lucy she wants to meet. Rosa's heart dropped. What did that mean for all of them? Would they be ready for whatever revelations awaited? Jack looked up, his expression determined. I think it's time to find out. And as the tension crackled in the air, Rosa wondered if there were layers of sweetness and bitterness waiting for them just beyond the kitchen door. What secrets would emerge when they dared to confront their past together? Rosa's breath caught in her throat. The weight of Jack's words hung heavily between them, the cake now forgotten as her thoughts spiraled. She could feel the pulse of hesitation vibrating through the room, competing with the soft hum of the kitchen appliances. Maria, blissfully unaware, continued to bounce on her toes, eagerly awaiting the first slice. What do you think she wants? Rosa's voice barely broke free, more a whisper than a question. The thought of Lucy appearing brought with it a swirling mess of curiosity and dread. I don't know, Jack admitted, running a hand through his hair. But I think it's important. She might hold pieces of my past that could reframe everything for us. Rosa regarded him, a blend of anger and fear swirling inside her. What if she doesn't? What if she is just someone who wants to disrupt our lives? Maria's small voice interrupted, showing her innocence in the thickening tension. Can we eat cake now? She asked, eyes big as saucers, a hopeful smile stretching across her face. Rosa couldn't help but smile back, her heart softening for just a moment. In a minute, sweet pea. But deep down, her heart raced at the thought of the storm brewing on the horizon. I know this is a lot to take in, Jack said gently, bringing his focus back to Rosa. But I trust Lucy. There's something about her like she has been searching for me, just as I have been for her. It's a chance we can't miss. Trust. You keep saying that. Rosa turned away, her hands now nervously adjusting the kitchen towel. You have to understand, it's not just about you anymore. It's about us, about our family. We've built our lives on certain truths. What if those truths shatter? Jack stepped closer, his intensity filling the small space between them. I promise to protect you and Maria. This is about understanding, not ruining what we have. Learning more about family could strengthen our bond. We might uncover joy amidst the hardship. Just then, the phone buzzed again, slicing through the tension. It was another message. Jack's face faltered as he read it, then turned toward Rosa, his brow furrowed. She wants to meet tonight. Tonight? Rosa echoed, panic rising in her chest. It was too soon, too abrupt. Don't you think we need time to prepare? What if it's too much all at once? He placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. We can prepare, but we have to move forward. Lucy is the key to something we don't even know we're missing. There's a chance we could learn about your family too, Rosa. What if she has answers about your past? Her heart raced with an unmanageable blend of hope and fear. Could this actually be about her family? Thoughts of long-forgotten relatives swirled in her mind. Maria, ever the light, clapped her hands, breaking the tension. Please, can we have cake now? It's still my birthday. Rosa chuckled softly, grateful for the little spark of joy. Okay, let us taste it. But Jack, we'll talk more about Lucy later. She looked into his eyes, searching for a glimpse of reassurance. As they cut the cake, each slice felt heavier than before, laden with the sweetness of sugar but underlying layers of uncertainty. They gathered around the table, Maria's giggle filling the void, yet the weight of the meeting lingered like a looming cloud just outside their window. Finally, Jack looked at Rosa, determination etched on his face. Whatever happens tonight, we face it together. I promise. Rosa squeezed Maria's hand, trying to ground herself in the moment. Together, she echoed, wishing she shared the same certainty. The clock ticked ominously in the background, counting down to their impending meeting. Would they be ready to face the truths waiting to unfold? As the cake was savored, the air thickened with anticipation and fear. And as the last bite of cake faded on their tongues, a single thought loomed in Rosa's mind. What transformation awaited them, lurking just beyond the door into the unknown? The minutes turned into hours, and the air grew heavy with uncertainty. As the sun sank below the horizon, a warm golden light filled the kitchen windows, casting long shadows that danced around the room. The cake, though delicious, sat untouched as the reality of Jack's revelation deepened into an unspoken resolve. Jack paced the floor, his phone buzzing softly in his pocket as concerns twisted in his mind. He wanted to comfort Rosa, to assure her that opening the door to the past could lead to something beautiful. But he saw her gaze lingering on the door, a simmering cocktail of fear and curiosity bubbling just beneath the surface. "Can we really do this?" she whispered, her eyes glassy with emotion. What if Lucy brings more questions than answers? What if it just complicates everything? At that moment, Maria, innocently unaware of the weight laden on her mother's heart, jumped up from her chair, quickly undoing the tension. "Mom! Can we have another slice? I want the rainbow part." Rosa forced a smile, and it felt soft and light, a temporary balm on her worries. "Sure, Maria. We just need to decide what we want. The cake is like life, sometimes you don't know what you're going to get until you take a bite." Another smile flickered across Jack's face, but he knew it was still a fragile moment. As he turned, he caught sight of the clock. 8 o'clock. Lucy would be arriving any minute now. The combination of longing and trepidation pulsed through him like a drumbeat. "We're all just pieces of our past," he said gently, looking at them both. "Whatever Lucy shares, it won't change who we are, it will only expand our view. Family isn't just about connection, it's about understanding where we came from." Maria nodded, her innocence a reminder of hope as she spoke. "I want to know more stories." "Mom, can we do that? Can we be a team?" Rosa felt warmth wash over her as her daughter's enthusiasm reminded her of the strength in unity. "Yes, we'll be a team. We can face anything together." Just then, the doorbell rang, echoing through the house as if it signaled the arrival of a storm. Jack felt his heart race. He exchanged a quick look with Rosa, who stood frozen for a moment, lost in thought. "Okay, deep breath," Jack said, trying to lighten the moment. "Let us be brave." As he opened the door, Lucy stood there, a warm smile lighting up her face. The energy shifted in an instant. Lucy radiated a sense of familiarity, as if she were already part of their lives. "Jack!" she exclaimed, stepping forward to embrace him. "I'm so glad to see you again. Thank you for inviting me." "Lucy, this is my wife, Rosa, and our daughter, Maria," Jack introduced warmly. The moment felt charged, the air thick with unspoken histories. "Hi. Are you ready for cake?" Maria chimed in, breaking the tension with her bright grin. "Always." Lucy laughed, kneeling to Maria's level. "I heard your birthday is today. How old are you turning?" 7. "And this cake is rainbow." "Rainbow? How fun." Lucy's excitement was palpable, a refreshing breeze that spread laughter. This was the beginning a moment of connection. "What's your favorite flavor?" "Chocolate and sprinkles." "Can we get started on icing?" Rosa chuckled softly, feeling the warmth spread through her chest. For a fleeting moment, the weight of the upcoming conversations faded into the background. Jack gestured for Lucy to step inside, and they moved toward the kitchen table, settling around the cake, feeling the energy shift. "I think we could all keep baking together," he said, glancing at Rosa, who nodded. "Let us bake and then share stories. It's our special family night." Maria beamed. And as they prepared to cut the cake, emotions swirled, hope mingled with anxiety, the possibility of healing within the air. Jack took a deep breath, the moment humming with potential. "Let us take a slice, and then we can start chatting about family stories," he suggested, watching Lucy's face as she accepted the invitation. The sweetness of cake mingled with the weight of shared stories, all resting on the table before them. They took their first pieces. Laughter filling the kitchen as the first bite brought pure joy. But Jack couldn't shake the anticipation of the truths that were still waiting. Would Lucy's stories reveal the connections that had eluded them? Would they create a bridge among all of their paths? As the cake disappeared, Rosa and Jack exchanged glances, silently agreeing it was time. The weight of unspoken histories began to settle in their bones, a knowing glimmer in their eyes. Lucy, we are eager to hear more about you. You mentioned something earlier about family? Rosa ventured cautiously as the laughter of Maria unfolded between them, buoying them forward. As their excitement faded, Lucy looked at Rosa, her expression shifting. There's much to tell, she said softly, a hint of vulnerability breaking through. The room fell into an intimate silence. Jack's heart raced, the moment pregnant with anticipation. Sharing our stories is what connects us, he murmured, feeling the energy shift once again. Rosa squeezed his hand, her strength mingling with the threads of possibility in the air. And so, under the soft glow of the kitchen lights, as the remnants of joy and cake swirled around them, they began. The journey was unstoppable now, and together, they felt ready to unwrap the layers of their lives, explore the tapestry of their family, and embrace the transformations ahead. As the darkness closed in around them, the dawning realization shone brighter than ever. Understanding would not only heal their past, it would illuminate their future. This was their moment. This was the beginning of something profound. Do not wait for the next exclusive story. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you won't miss any transformative moments. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep us going. Comment below with your thoughts, feelings, and reactions to this ending. And please, share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to witness this transformation. You need to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second.